Hello out there. If you are a soul searcher like I am, you're my family, my friends, my comrades, and my soul tribe. Welcome. This is Hug, Love, Heal channel, and I'm your host, Sunjin. Today, we will discuss love. Love from a perspective of a survivor of a child abuse. Infant and child abuse precisely would be describing me here. So this morning I was deep in the meditation, and while this is sort of my own ritual. I will take my daily baths and I will listen to whatever that may be. Sometimes it's a music, grounding music, healing music, sometimes classical music, but at times I just listen to some of these astrologers or a tarot listening, and there are a few that I truly find to be amazing. Downright, like, how do they know this? Anyway, so I was listening to one of this person, and this person was talking about reclaiming lost innocence from a childhood. And so that two words, innocent childhood or childhood innocence, really sort of pierced into my heart right here. And I started to seriously giving thoughts of what that meant, and I just couldn't quite point it out myself. So I brought that question to two of my children who are preteen and teenager, so could get from their perspective of what it meant to lose innocence as they're growing up. So anyway, with all that, my effort today trying to show my childlikeness. Minion is the friend of all children, of course. I've not met any single kid yet who does not like Minion. On top of that, color yellow is not only its nice and friendly color, it's actually also color of a third chakra in our energy center. And the third chakra has to do with personal willpower and energy center. So if we want to ever accomplish something in our lives, we will really drive our power from this area in our third chakra. And this sits right about 1.5 inches, 2 inches above the belly button. So very closely with the second chakra that revolve around the belly button. It's got two very important chakra that circulates there. Anyway, so connecting to the third chakra, then it governs our power or self-will in a way. So despite of, say, what maybe the universe have a plan for you, or in the course of ways of what is expected with the karma, perhaps, that we, in our personal spiritual being that we are in this body, we can drive power from this third chakra and perhaps interfere or work with our so-called destiny, because after all, the destiny can be changed due to the will, self-will, that is. Anyway, here we go. The synchronicities, which is amazing. Guess what? My name, Sun Jin. Sun Jin. It is a Chinese character, can be written as a Chinese character, but also in Korean word, it means innocence or innocent. Funny. Coincidence, synchronicities, of course. So my father said that he named me my name, so anyway. I always think I'm the most innocent one around anywhere. Child, about 2-year-old today, passing by me, smiled at me. And I took that as some very special clue. Yes, I am an angelic being. Okay, so anyway, my name, because of that innocence, who'd name their kid Innocence, right? So it used to be always kind of name that made people's head turn or look at me second time, especially during beginning of the school year, where a teacher would call for the attendance and would always call my name twice. Sunjin, or say Jo Sunjin. And look at me, look at the name on the whatever the board or the attendance sheet, and they would ask, is it really your name? And of course, I used to be so embarrassed by my name and used to really not like it. What kind of name is Innocence? God knows I'm far from it, I thought, back then. Now I actually really like it. I think it's very special. Whose name could it be Innocence? It's so amazing. I'm simply so beautiful and precious. Sorry. Okay, so here I am getting help with my note here. So the question evoked me, can you reclaim the childhood innocence when you lost or never had one? I guess this question I am trying to ask is if you were always disposed, because I am not only a childhood, but I am an infant abuse survivor. So if you were always mistreated or abused, or what does that mean to abuse an infant? Not feeding well, not feeding on, I guess, not proper nutrition, not proper hygiene, not proper care, period, for that child's well-being. And my upbringing is, we'll talk about it later, but it's definitely is a one of a kind, and not a good way. way. One of a kind, not a good way. And if I never had one that I felt like, or say that child likeness was never nurtured so that that child had to grow up too fast, then that child never really had that innocenthood, even from very young, from very, very young, especially if you were born and within months taken away or separated from the mother and nothing good to be fed with, certainly no milk, no breast milk. So how did I survive that? Anyway, so then when you are grown up, can you actually claim that innocence, or should it be said reclaim? And this is where I was starting to be very unsettled or very confused, more or less. And only help that I really could or dig out is my two kids, who are one preteen and the other one is 15. And so I asked them what lost innocent meant to them. The younger one simply didn't understand that question alone. Like, what does that mean, lost innocence? So he knows the word innocence, but what does it mean to lose it? So he just was never so glad. He never had to experience of such a kind. But also whether he's not quite, his physical body is beginning to be changing, but his mind is still yet young. He doesn't relate to any of these kind of lost, what that feels like, especially of something from their own self. And yet my 15-year-old, after he thought about it a while and he replied, it meant to him gaining more responsibilities. So he think it back as he's going back to the best time of his life is when he is about 12, 13 years of age, where his mind is complex enough that he can actually enjoy his surroundings full-heartedly, yet without having to take any real responsibilities to even to themselves, right? Except maybe when if they fall and say they knee broke or something. But even then, that's something they simply don't care. Something just happened to them. Anyway, so I was thinking about what he said. And then in my complex thoughts, the word trust came to me. And trust is such a tricky state, to be honest with you. That means before you can say, I trust you, means I have to answer my own question. Do I have any doubt about this person, that person, this situation, that situation? what's the result going to be? So I'm not asking any of those following the tail questions. I'm simply trusting, not having any self questions of doubts about this person or this circumstances. And that is actually, it's such a simple thing. That is, if you're a child. And that is why here, the word innocence, that really only really limits to the children. You don't say to the grown-up, oh, she is so innocent. You could be innocent from the crime, maybe. But typically, we do not refer certain adult as innocent. So yeah, in here, limiting this word, the parameter of the word innocent, really applies when you can maintain this carefreeness of themselves. When you start to feel like I have to do this or that because I'm old enough and that, or if you are trying to become a little bit more tweaking your ideas and thoughts, then you're no longer innocent there, is there? So trust is a big word. Big word. That really do parallel innocence, or they're in the same group. And when innocence is taken away from young child, he or she does not have anyone to trust for their own protection, unfortunately. So that's when the innocent is gone. And of course, this does not have necessarily an adult to grown up. Certain situations that occurred with myself and my cousin, which I was 6 years old. He was about 14 and 15 years old. His attempt to rape me while we are all supposedly should be sleeping came very close. In fact, it's really a rape. I came from that spot of courage where I told him I was tolerating what he was doing to me, and there were other cousins sleeping there. I said, stop doing this, stop doing this. And it was just in time where he was penetrating into my vagina. And he stopped, and I think he was actually shocked, astonished, that while he thought maybe I was asleep, and that tells him how dumb he is. My stupid cousin. But then he was only maybe like 14, 15, so what does he know about sex, especially at that age anyway? So that is where seriously my innocence is taken away again. Second time, and this time was from someone I really liked and whom I felt was my family. Or say my brother, because that's what he was to me. He was my brother that I grew up with until I was taken again from people I thought was my family. I was taken away from a family who was really my aunt's family into my parents, whom then I thought was really my brother and sister. So I didn't have this comprehension of who are my real parents. So anyway, this complete trust within the unconditional love, it is so precious, so precious, where a baby connected not only from their umbilical cords, but through their heart when they come out and being independent, this body connects to your heart completely, and they count on you 100% for their survival. That is trust. That is trust. And as we grow older, children grow older, while their brains start to develop more, right? They start to replace you with their little friends, their little toys, their favorite clothes or games or whatever. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. That was okay with me. I see them grow, and in fact I try to make sure that we'll have close relationships together so that they could always count on us, trust me and my husband for their whatever the well-being in any given time. And that's how families should be. But unfortunately, some people are not lucky, right? Some people are just not lucky. Maybe they were when they're young, but we grow separate. That's okay. Fair enough, right? We start to act with our own interest. My siblings are not of interest. So there is when innocence starts to fade away, replaced by or whatever else of this child's interest as we grow bigger, older. But then there are times where we lose the innocence instantly, like I had said about me being raped, near raped, by my trusted cousin that I liked so much, because he was a brother that I thought grew up as. Or it could be like my husband was trying to give an option, like an idea, concept. If one's parents all of a sudden disappear, out of, I guess, means divorce or death or something like that, and you don't have one to rely on anymore. So you have to grow up suddenly, because simply the shoulder that you leaned on is not there anymore. You have to stand up by yourself. So that's kind of situations where you just end up, your innocence is just taken away or ripped out of you. And when they get ripped out, taken away, if you are one of you, if you are one of them, if you're one of them, like I am, you just simply don't know what to think. And just life is, yeah, life is not alive, man. So anyway, here, all these experiences of, losing one's parents, being raped, these are not really limited to the girls, right? So boys may have some of these experiences, definitely losing one's parents anyway. And so when you are faced with these, such as sexual abuse, rape, unwanted pregnancies, and etc., so many more, will alter your energy and your perspectives of the self, with you and against, or with the world. So that's what it means by lost innocence. When you are no longer being in a protection, yet left to your own device, not knowing what to do next. And then you have to fumble along, catch up, and you learn how to be grown up fast. That's how you lose your innocence. So the concept here is that I am faced with my possible crown chakra, which is funny because I channel energy, and at times I channel messages. And let me have some sip of water. I'm very this block of crown chakra, at times I do feel, but then I do channel, I receive messages, but apparently this sadness that I carry is needing to be released. It's blocking my crown chakra so that I could communicate with the messages that's coming through to me more rapidly, more readily. So it's something I have to figure out, releasing. And I am simply not so sure how to do it. Releasing my sadness, my So I've worked through so much, and then I'm faced with that very first beginning. In a way, I thought I released it all, and yet I'm still going back to that sense of sadness. I don't feel terrible about being abandoned, but I think I am still not quite released the sadness that I associate for this body. Anyway, so yeah, that's my ponder. And I felt like I forgave, and I'm sure I did. I did. I forgave my parents for what has happened. I let go of my previous experiences at my aunt's home. I did not forgive this cousin, but I thought that he got the punishment from the universe because he's dead. But I still really wanting to know how to connecting with my first and second chakra to be able to let go this sadness, grief that my being is saturated in it. Like I had the baklava today at lunch for dessert, like soaked in honey, saturated. I'm saturated in the sadness. And I haven't mastered yet. I can see myself a aura glow. This amazing things that I can do, blessed with special gifts. Yet I don't know, haven't figured out how to let go of this sadness that this body is saturated in. So no longer of an anger, no more of hatred, no more of, if you are in the place of forgiveness, you forgive because you care and you love. And yet, even if I am 100% sure, even though I am 100% sure that I am in love with myself, so I am definitely sure how I love dearly of me. Yet, and I recognize the sadness within me, yet I don't know how to get this sadness out of it. Or should I say, maybe just sort of like clicked in me just right now while I'm talking. Instead of being a blockage, acknowledge. Wow, that's so powerful. I should write that. Instead of being a blockage, acknowledge. If I do that, and maybe continue to do so, maybe that block will dissipate, perhaps, over time. I think that's what the message that I received. Interesting how came like this from talking about, what were we talking about? Innocence, that's right. We were talking about innocence, and then came around and talking about me and my blockage. If you can relate to these, have any advice, please let me know. I would love to get any advices out there. other than myself receiving. And that's the part where I feel, in the meditation during the night, before I go to bed, sleeping or whatever. These meditations that I do, love meditations that let, with the Angel Raphael, please let my body heal. And I, listen to this frequency music of healing. And I feel very okay these days, not so bad. But the more I think about it, coming through to it in every aspect of my life is keep centering here, along with the what I've been saying from the first episode that I did, center of love energy, heart energy lives here. Love energy right in your heart center. So trying to connect, it aches in there, and I wonder why do I have this? How can I get rid of it? Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't say that. How can I comfort this energy so that I no longer feel this sadness? Or is it just the way is it going to be? That's the thing, is I really do wish that I would experience what it's like to be like so deliriously happy that I don't know anything about sadness at all. I just sometimes wonder what kind of feeling state would that be, right? Sometimes, don't you ever think that? Enough of me going on. Anyway, so let me close today. If you have any comments, help for this poor soul here, do let me know. And if you are one of me, then hey, let's carry on. We did it this far, so why not a little bit more, right? We'll see what kind of comments appear. Maybe will be some sort of help in there. Let's find out, okay? So until next time.